And in the big finish tonight, top Michigan Republicans, well, they didn't like it when Representative Lisa Brown said the word vagina during a debate last week. So imagine what the guys of the GOP thought of this protest tonight. Hundreds of people gathered outside the Capitol in Lansing, Michigan to listen to a performance of the vagina monologues. 11 female lawmakers took the stage. This all stems from a debate over abortion legislation last Wednesday. Representative Lisa Brown was censured for saying this.
And finally, Mr. Speaker, I'm flattered that you're all so interested in my vagina, but no means no.
Republican leaders insist that they were offended by her rape reference, not the word vagina. Brown was not allowed to speak again. GOP wouldn't let her debate a teacher retirement bill the very next day. Totally different subject. Representative Barb Byram was also silenced. She tried to suggest an amendment to legislate vasectomies. She got shut down.
The clerk will open the board. Members may vote at their desks. The amendment is not adopted. Are there further amendments? Are there? Representative, you are out of order. Would the clerk please read in the next amendment?
Michigan Republicans say both women simply violated the rules of decorum, and the leader of the House accused both women of throwing temper tantrums. But there could be some serious legal fallout for the Republicans. This sign from today's crowd, the protest tonight, says it all. Vaginas brought you into the world, and vaginas will vote you out. Michigan State Representative Barb Byram joins me tonight here on The Ed Show. Barb, thank you for your time.
My soul, thank you so much for having me.
You bet. Does the public get what's going on here? I mean, it seems to me there's a radical agenda out there, an attack on women, and now they're trying to squelch the dissenting voices. How else do we read that?
Absolutely. That's how the people should read it. Rather than focusing on creating jobs, making sure our kids get a good education, we're focusing on these social issues that are divisive and unnecessary. And we're also just silencing the voice of two female legislators in the House of Representatives. It's completely unacceptable. And I think that people know that.
What do you say to your colleagues over on the right that say you went too far, that you went out of bounds, that you violated decorum? What about that?
I have seen fist fights on the House floor. I have heard many worse words than vagina, vasectomy, or anything like that on the House floor. So them arguing that I am violating decorum falls on deaf ears. They are making up excuses because they didn't like what I had to say. And if they didn't like what we had to say, Representative Brown, of course, said vagina, and I, of course, said vasectomy. They're sure not going to like what we do in November, and that's vote.
Well, I guess... when are you going to be able to go back on the floor again? I mean, they wouldn't let you on the floor the next day, or your colleague Brown, she was not allowed to go on the floor the next day to do an amendment to a teacher bill. What about that?
We were permitted on the floor. We were permitted to vote, but we were not permitted to speak. Representative Brown had some education legislation that she needed to speak on actually in opposition to. I had some voter suppression legislation that was on the floor that I wanted to also speak in opposition to. We were both denied the opportunity to speak on those pieces of legislation. We were able to vote on the legislation, however.
How do you know that this is going to have a big impact in November?
I know this is going to have a big impact in November because I just saw over 3,000 people screaming vagina, vasectomy, and vote on the Capitol steps. So I know this will have an impact in November. I just don't think the Republicans know what kind of impact this is going to have.
Well, you know, if they're banning you from speaking on the floor and they get away with it, what makes you think they're not going to do it again?
I don't think they're getting away with it. People are mad. Whether they are pro-choice or anti-choice, people are upset that two female elected state representatives were censored on the House floor. And people are mad, and they're holding them accountable for those actions.
Michigan State Representative Barb Byram, thanks for your time tonight. I appreciate it so much. Thank you.